Welcome to Moments of Grace. I'm the Reverend Angie Day Peters, Vicar of St. Chad's with St. Mary's and St. Alkmund's here in Shrewsbury, England. I want to talk today a little bit about creating a rhythm for our lives in the midst of these times. I think one of the biggest challenges for most of us has been that things are just not in order. For example, I live very close to one of my parish churches, and we have a beautiful clock tower, and it chimes the hours, and it's just lovely. It reminds you every day of where you are and what's happening. But the time change has happened since we have gone into a different rhythm of life, and so the clock is now off. So it rings, it chimes on the hour, but it's missing a chime because it thinks that it's, say, 1 p.m. when it's really 2 p.m. And it's those sorts of things that have us feeling just disoriented and uncomfortable. I would suggest as well that it's more than that. It's the fact that our entire lives seem to have lost a bit of their structure. And even if we're working from home, we're finding that it feels nothing like working at the office or in the classroom or in the lab or wherever we work. It just feels weird. And that extends to our spiritual life, because I think one of the things that my tradition teaches us is that we are whole beings. We're not just a mind or a body or our thoughts or feelings. We're all of those things and so much more. And so what affects us in one part of our lives affects all of our lives. And more importantly, our spirituality, who we are, our soul is a part of everything that we do. So this level of disconcertedness slips into all that we do. The remedy, I think, is not to just sort of throw our hands up and say, there's nothing we can do about that, but rather perhaps this is an opportunity to go deeper, to ask ourselves if this is actually a call to a different kind of life. One of my friends and colleagues in ministry has set up a simple way of living, what we call in my tradition a rule of life. A way to organize her time that reflects her values and what's important to her. And it includes praying, and it includes taking walks with her dog, and it includes all sorts of things that are important, including the work that she does. But what it does is it holds her accountable to herself for making clear in her life what needs to happen each day so that she can be mentally, physically, and spiritually well. This is an important part of Christian practice, and I see this as a bedrock of what we can begin to build in the midst of this time, something that might last even after all of this is over. I think the key to a good rule of life, a good spiritual practice, is making it simple, making it flexible. So you don't want to go and say, I'm going to pray for 15 hours a day. Well, that's probably not realistic. Or I'm going to make sure I do exactly 8 hours of work every day. Well, in the midst of all of this, that might not happen. Instead, it's about making sure that we start each day with a sense of commitment to what needs to get done. So I want to offer you a resource that might really be helpful. The Society of St. John the Evangelist, an Anglican, an Episcopal order based in Boston, Massachusetts, has a great site that lets you grow your own rule of life, lets you sort of sit down and think about what are the pieces of my life that I need to make sure that I'm on track spiritually, that I'm emotionally centered, because those things are connected and they're so important. So this wonderful guide will allow you to sit down and really think about, where am I spiritually? And what keeps me at my best spiritually? And what do I need right now to make sure that I am mentally, physically, and spiritually well? I think we can learn a great deal from the monastic tradition, which has done a lot in thinking about how do we keep ourselves strong, fit, healthy, so that we can serve others? How do we love God first, love our community and ourselves in ways that are life-giving? We have a lot to learn from those who have come before us, and for those who live lives of simplicity, grace, and love in the name of Christ. God bless you, and I look forward to speaking with you again. Be well, be safe, and take care of one another.